Good morning, everyone. I hate to stop what sounds like such fun chatter. We are so grateful that everyone is up this morning bright and early. I know this is busy gala season. I know so some of you are out every night. So we just thought we'd switch things up and have you get up really early. So we really appreciate that. I want to thank you for coming out to support the work we do empowering women, because this work could not happen without your support. And so there's some folks I want to thank just right up off the top. I want to thank our matching sponsor, the Marie Lantham Charitable Trust. And I want to thank our gold sponsors, the Greenbrier Companies and Providence Health Services. And I also want to thank all of our sponsors and table hosts who've made today possible. Thank you all. Let's give them all a round of applause. I also want to thank the Dress for Success board. It is headed by our co-chairs, Sonia McKenzie and Tracy Ray. So can DFSO board members in the room please stand up? DFSO board members. Thank you so much. I also want to welcome our advisory board. It's like there's your parent who makes sure you do things, and then your fun parent. That's the advisory board. So I'd like to have our advisory board members stand up. All right, and we have elected officials in the room. I'd like to acknowledge Attorney General Ellen Rosenblum. And do we have any other elected officials in the room? If so, please stand up. You're elected. Thank you. Thank you very much. I also want to thank the Dress for Success Oregon staff. Obviously, everything we do is a group project. I always tell my staff, you have to pull together in the same direction to go anywhere. So, and everyone frequently is pulling together in the same direction to get all of this done. So I'd like my Dress for Success staff to wave, stand, wherever you are. And I want to give a special call out to Rachel Branson, who is our Manager of Development and Communications. I don't know where Rachel is, but this is Rachel's first year kind of helming this event on her own, and Rachel has done an amazing job. She only had to jog around the block once to keep from losing it. No, I'm just kidding. But Rachel's done great, so thank you, Rachel. So, and then I have just a little housekeeping notes for you all. If anything you hear today inspires you to give, we have tried to make it even easier. So we have a new text to give link, and we'll talk more about that later, but this is technology, so we'd like to encourage you to get on Wi-Fi now if you'd like to use that. There's information on the back of your program today that explains how, but you log on to the network, which is the Sentinel Meetings. Your username is Dress for Success, and the password is welcome, and that gets you on the Wi-Fi. That just makes it easier to use the text option. We gotta try everything. So, with all of those things out of the way, I can now tell you a little bit more about why we're here today. So, a lot of you may not know that Dress for Success Oregon is the only organization in the state of Oregon that focuses exclusively on women in workforce development. Come on in, folks by the back. You don't have to hang out by the door. That focuses exclusively on women and workforce development. And many people often ask me, why? Why do you focus on women? And it's a legitimate question. And I have some legitimate answers, so how about that? So here's a few reasons why. First, we know that generational poverty is female. More than half of all poor children live in families that are headed by women, and that's according to the National Law Center. And contrary to popular belief, women at all levels of employment are still facing significant challenges in the workplace. And that is according to the recently released McKinsey & Company study of women in the workplace in 2018. And that study has some shocking things. I think we look at our lives and we see it's confirmation bias, right? We see what we see. We think, oh yeah, I work with ladies. I know ladies. Ladies are fine. But that's not exactly what the data says. So according to McKinsey, progress on gender diversity at work has stalled, and stalled pretty hard. Women are doing their part. They're earning more bachelor's degrees than men. That is true. They're asking for promotions, negotiating salaries, and contrary to conventional wisdom, they actually are staying in the workplace longer. So this narrative that women, oh, they leave because they have kids, they're staying in the workplace long, they're attritioning at the same rate as men. But, and it's a big but, women are still underrepresented at every level. And women of color are the most underrepresented group of all, lagging behind white men, men of color, and white women. Now, the two biggest drivers here is hiring and promotions. And companies are disadvantaging women, according to McKinsey, in these areas from the very beginning. So although women are earning more bachelor's degrees, they are not getting entry-level jobs that frequently lead to promotions. And this is a critical step in becoming a manager, and that's when the disparity widens even more. Further, women are less likely to be hired to managerial jobs directly, and therefore less likely to be promoted even further up. So if you really want to learn and really see more, the McKinsey study, 2018 Women at Work, you really should take a look at it, because there's some great data, and they looked at data for over 19 million employees. So this is not something somebody just made up. And it speaks to what we know at Dress, because those factors contribute to the economic instability that the women we see face. So you might be surprised to know that over 70% of our women have some college. That means they've either attended, went 2 years, or went more. But once women leave or are forced out of the workplace, getting back is much, much harder. And that is where we come in as Dress for Success. Now, many of you know us for providing clothing for women to help them in need, to ace interviews. That is still very much an important part of what we do, but it is not all of what we do. We are actually part of a worldwide organization. There's 143 affiliates in 23 countries, and the one here in Portland is one of the oldest and most innovative dresses in the world, and that's not hyperbole. And so we help women with pre-employment job coaching, our Fast Track program, post-employment job retention support, our HOPE program, career advancement, our professional women's group, and now we have developed a non-traditional women in tech program. And through a partnership with Treehouse Inc., that's an online tech training company platform, we have seen a total of 7 women within a year and a half learn to code and go from minimum wage and underemployment to each standing to make over $50,000 each. Now that's $400,000 combined. And I have a shocking bit of information for you if you live in Multnomah County. The self-sufficiency wage in Multnomah County for one person and one child is $51,000 a year. That's just to pay your rent and just to get the basics done. So we're trying to move our clients toward that level of self-sufficiency. We also launched a financial education program with Capital One that is part of a larger partnership with Dress for Success Worldwide. We continue to grow our partnership with Uber, providing rides for women coming to our office to get clothing appointments and to go to job interviews. And if that were not enough, we have expanded to Salem, and we are proud to say we've partnered with Wells Fargo on the new Dress for Success Oregon Salem Branch Wells Fargo Center. And I'm going to tell you what, we could not do any of that without the amazing work of our volunteers. And so now I would like to bring up our volunteer manager, Lindsay Norlander, who is going to tell you a little bit about our volunteers and give out some awards. Lindsay?
right. Hi, everyone. So a little fun fact for this morning. Dress for Success Worldwide, a few years ago, about 4 years ago, changed our mission statement. And it used to be to promote the economic independence of disadvantaged women. And now what it is to empower all women, all walks of life, all races, sexual orientations, genders, religions, to achieve self-sufficiency. And by making that shift, Dress for Success Oregon has decided to further down that road of putting our clients at the center of everything we do. And what that means is we've redeveloped programs, we have added wraparound services to support them, and we've added trauma-informed care training and equity training to our volunteer onboarding. What we've realized through doing this is as important as it is to provide these resources, to provide the clothing, to provide the services, it's just as important that when our clients come in, they feel safe, they feel seen and valued and heard, and they feel represented by the people that are supporting them. So one of our goals has been to diversify our volunteer group and our volunteer base, so that clients, when they come in, they can feel empowered by the people who are supporting them and feel like they're represented. And so with that, we have our volunteers who have been on board, going through different trainings, being flexible with us with things that are changing, and really having a lot of empathy for the women we support. And so 3 women that I would love to introduce today and have come up to the stage have been chosen to be recognized today because of their empathy, because of their support, their ongoing support, and their flexibility with us while we make these changes. So I'd like to introduce Kelly Campbell and Marion Davis and Pamela Rasan Miles to the stage. So I'm going to share a little bit about each of them, and this by no means is exhaustive to everything they do for us, but I'll start with Kelly Campbell. So first of all, it's her birthday today, so happy birthday. And Kelly helps us on the weekends. She is our lead front desk person, which means she manages the flow of our Saturday shifts. That includes checking clients in, helping with intake, helping with personal shopping, making sure appointments stay on time. She is a huge, huge support to me. I adore her, and I am just so appreciative to everything she does. So. All right, and next is Marion Davis, and fun fact, this is my second time meeting Marion, not because she doesn't do a ton for us, but because she does a ton for us outside of Dress for Success Oregon, actually at our Fast Track program, which is held at PCC Willow Creek in Beaverton. So she is a huge resource in the room, and aside from that, she provides hours worth of resume reviewing for our clients weekly, coaching them and doing things at home, doing things behind the scenes. And yeah, so we're so appreciative of you and everything you do. All right. And last is Pamela Rasan Miles. Yes. Yes, everyone who knows Pamela loves her. You can see she has amazing style. She helps us in our store, both during our donation days and also as a personal shopper. And Pamela provides not only great feedback and style to our clients, but really provides a safe space for clients. So much so that when clients come back for a second appointment, meaning they've landed a job, they ask if they can work with Pamela again. So she's incredible, and we very much appreciate everything she does for us. So.
Yep. And you know, the amazing thing is, I know Pam is retired, but Kelly has a job. So, I mean, we could not do what we do without our 200 strong volunteers who work so, so hard. And I saw Justice Adrienne Nelson is now in the room, so I just want to acknowledge Justice Nelson. Thank you for coming out this morning. So again, thank you, Lindsay, Pam, Marion, and Kelly. We appreciate everything. Now, we have 3 amazing women to speak to you today to share their insights as trailblazers in non-traditional careers. The U.S. Department of Justice defines non-traditional occupations as occupations for which individuals from one gender comprise less than 25% of those employed in such occupation. Quite legal. Surely technology is one of those areas, and we are very lucky today to have one of the trailblazers in the field of high tech, Lakeisha Guntner, as our community keynote speaker. Lakeisha is the Vice President of Programmable Solutions and General Manager of Ecosystems Development and Operations at Intel Corporation. In addition to her management responsibilities, Lakeisha is an active member in the Intel Black Leadership Council. It's Intel's African Americans and Women at Intel groups. Her work has gained her national recognition. She was named Business Insider's list of 26 most powerful female engineers in 2016. Listed at number 11. In 2015, she was a recipient of the Society of Women of Engineers PRISM Award for demonstrating outstanding career technology leadership. Lakeisha earned her Master's of Science in Electrical Engineering from Georgia Institute of Technology and a Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Engineering from the University of South Florida. She also has a project management certification. So we want to welcome Lakeisha.
Good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing? Good, good. Well, I am absolutely pleased and honored to be here today to really share in this special opportunity, a fundraising event for Dress for Success, where the focus is really about empowering women and giving them the tools and resources they need to navigate their path to success. I see that as an opportunity to give them an opportunity to be all that they were designed to be and created to be, giving them the tools they need to walk into their greatness and change the world, one day at a time. As I look across this room, this is an amazing view. You should see what I see. It's filled with beautiful women, tons of beautiful women, and there are a few handsome men in here too. We thank you for being here. My hope is that one day, this is exactly what rooms look like in the tech industry. And I believe with each one of us working together, we can make that happen. So I took a little bit of a liberty. I think in the years past, the theme for this breakfast has been titled In Her Shoes. Well, I love shoes so much, it speaks volumes to me. I pulled that into my talk today, so go with me, okay? Because who doesn't love shoes, right? My love affair started at a very early age. But seriously, through my life, I've been so fortunate and blessed to have so many women who've helped me, supported me, they've encouraged me, and they've empowered me to pursue my dreams and goals because they themselves put themselves in my shoes, and they remember what it was like when they first got started in their careers. And so I'll just take you a little bit on a journey of where I got started. So my life began at a very small, impoverished, racially divided town in Florida, where many people fell victim to drugs, pregnancy, crime, you name it. But this was not going to be the path for me. I was raised by a strong single mom of 3 who set an example of how to stay vigilant in the face of adversity, not allowing life circumstances and challenges or her environment to dictate her life story so they would not dictate mine. So at the age of 12, I asked my mom for a computer for Christmas. And of course, she had to work extra shifts in the restaurant industry to make sure that I could have that computer because I really wanted to learn programming. And I'm going to date myself, but my first computer was a Commodore 64. Okay, that's right? But I'm excited about that because it really set me on my journey. My mom was equipping me with the right tools to achieve my dreams. She was really giving me my first pair of shoes that would set me on a path that would forever change my life. I'm reminded of the quote by Marilyn Monroe that says, "Give a girl the right shoes and she can conquer the world." And that's exactly what my mom did for me. I developed a love for computers that would take me to, as Sherry said, USF in Tampa to get my degree in computer engineering, and I followed on to Georgia Tech and earned my master's in electrical engineering. Those shoes my mom gave me at age 12 set me on a course that enabled me to work for some of the top Fortune 500 companies in the world, including my current employer, Intel. A few short years ago, I left Florida in search of more sunshine, and Oregon was the first place that came to mind. Well, we know that isn't true. It is sunshine, but it's liquid sunshine, right? But I'm still here, almost 11 years later, and I'm excited about that. I came in 2008. I moved from Florida on faith, leaving everything I knew and everyone I knew behind. And I came to work for an amazing woman named Pamela Lusardi. Affectionately, we called her Pete. That was her nickname. From the interview and the first few meetings I had with her, I knew together that we would absolutely take microprocessor validation by storm. You know, in those first few meetings, she said to me, Lakeisha, I was in your shoes 27 years ago at Intel. And the first thing you need to do to navigate this monstrosity of Intel, this huge corporate landscape, is you need to build your network for success. And she gave me the top 5 women in her network, and she said, you go meet those women and you learn exactly what they do. I affectionately call that group of women my squad. She gave me access to women who could help me, women who would share their experiences, their resources, their relationships to help me accelerate my success. You know, I think in about a month or so, I really realized, actually a couple months, I realized that she absolutely was going to be my career best manager at that time. You know, very progressive manager, very excited about helping you achieve your dreams and goals. She was a true partner. And in my last one-on-one conversation that I had with her, she said to me, Lakeisha, I believe you can become a technical assistant and chief of staff at Intel. And you can also become the next Intel rock star. Tears began to stream down my face because I never had a manager say to me, I see you, I see what you can be, and I want to help you get there. And now the first question I asked her in the midst of the tears was, what's a TA? What's the chief of staff? Because I really had no idea. She began to articulate to me what that was, and I said, okay, if you believe I can do it, I'll do it. Now, as I said, Pete had been at Intel for 27 years, very well liked, absolutely loved. She was just probably a 5-foot short woman, strawberry blonde hair, freckles on her face. She was a typical engineer. I mean, she came to work, she wore jeans, she wore tennis shoes, she loved animals, she loved farming. She was just a country girl, and we loved that about her. The other thing that she did, we thought was just super bad, is she owned her own plane. So yeah, I mean, she had her own plane. And many times she would fly her plane to work, she would park it in the hangar right across from Intel, and ride her bike into the office. That was my boss, super cool, right? All right, keep me honest on time. So as I said, she was the absolute best. You know, my last one-on-one I had with her was on March 31st, 2009, and that's when she said to me, Lakeisha, it is my life's mission to help you be successful here at Intel. You came here from Florida, you came to join my team, we're gonna make this happen. Well, on April 1st, 2009, that morning I came to work, it was raining, as it always does in Oregon, right? It was a heavy rain, and so we didn't see her, and we began to say, well, where is Pete? You know, and so I went to and asked my boss's admin, I said, have you seen Pete? I think she's supposed to be meeting with Jim. And so she said, well, hold on a minute, Lakeisha. And prior to that, one of the guys on my team said, hey, have you seen Pete? I said, no. He said, there's been a plane crash. And so on that day, she was leaving Newburgh, her and another guy, and unfortunately, I lost my career best manager. So as you can imagine, that was a huge gut check moment. I felt like the wind in my sails were gone. Really a ship at that point without an anchor. And so it was a really difficult time. But we celebrated her life in the memorial service and all that she did and all the legacy that she was able to leave at Intel. And those same 5 women that she encouraged me to meet within the first few months of being at Intel, they said, we have your back. We're here to support you. We knew exactly what Pete wanted for you, and we will absolutely walk in her shoes to make that happen. They just loved on me, they empowered me, they encouraged me. They helped me move forward. They helped me and the team move forward to achieve the vision that she had. And so, my first role at Intel, like I said, was very foundational in setting me up for success because Pete made sure she did that. And every opportunity thereafter really was a springboard from what she actually set up. And you remember she said to me, I think you can become a TA chief of staff. And so I'm here to tell you a few short years later, because of those 5 women I talked to you about, I did become the technical assistant and chief of staff at Intel to our CEO, Brian Krzanich. And it was because of the dream that Pete had and what she birthed in me and those amazing women. And so really what I'm saying is, you know, when women support each other, incredible things can happen. Our senior women's community at Intel focuses on creating a supportive environment for all women to thrive. And in true Intel fashion, Intel is very famous for their acronyms, right? So I'm going to use an acronym today about how we actually empower women to achieve their goals. We provide them with shoes. We sponsor them. We have programs in place that allow proteges to have sponsors that really help them navigate their career success. We help them expand their network. That was exactly what Pete did to me. She opened up her Rolodex. And we create opportunities for them. And when they're, and maybe there may not be one, but we actually go into the room with the decision makers and we say today, we need to find an opportunity for Lakeisha. That's what we do. We empower them because we believe that sisterhood is sacred. We believe that when we empower women, we all rise. And Abby Wambach said, imperfect men have been empowered and permitted to run the world since the beginning of time. It's time now for imperfect women to grant themselves permission to join them. So, and we also support them. Whatever they need to be successful. We say behind every successful woman is a tribe of other successful women who have her back. Michelle Obama says there's no limit to what we can accomplish as women. And we wholeheartedly believe that at Intel. And we know that when we provide women with the shoes she needs, she succeeds. And when she succeeds, we succeed. Hashtag, I am her, she is me. And so we can put ourselves in the shoes of some of the success stories that have come through Dress for Success, Amber, Joy, Sherry, and the likes. These women have overcome circumstances and challenges, and they're now on a very huge positive trajectory because of the programs that you all invest in to enable them to be successful. And then, you know, and again, as an engineer and in true Intel fashion, I do have a little bit of data. How many minutes do I have left, Sherry? Time's up. So let me hurry up really quick. She said time is up. I want to just say this, and Sherry talked about it very quickly. While women make up 59% of the workforce today, they're averaging only 30% in tech industries. Women buy 65% and influence 85% of all consumer electronic purchases. We spend money. Research has shown that women improve innovation. Please add women to your teams because we are the solution to your problems. And I'll wrap up with this. When you lift up women, you lift up humanity. Dr. King said life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? I'm really excited to see everyone out here in this room today because we're absolutely doing things for others. Thank you so much.
Wow, that was incredible. We so appreciate those words, Lakeisha. We appreciate that. And shoes, we all like shoes. Even if we like flat shoes, doesn't have to be high heel shoes. You can still like shoes. Next up, we are proud to hear from one of our client speakers because engineering is still very much a male-dominated field. And DFSO client Atusa Gorge is leading the way. 3 years ago, Atusa came to Dress for Success Oregon after being told by another workforce agency to find work in a daycare center. Wonder why. And she has an undergraduate degree and a master's degree in civil engineering. She now works for the Oregon Department of Transportation, recently became a U.S. citizen, and is the first DFSO client representative to win the first place worldwide award for her community action project through Dress for Success Worldwide that included a cruise. So, Atusa?
Good morning, everybody. I'm one of those 5-foot women that I need to adjust this one. So, happy Thursday, and thanks for sharing your breakfast today with us. I'm Atusa Gorge, and now roadway designer with Oregon Department of Transportation. As Sherry mentioned, I immigrated 6 years ago from Iran, where I had my bachelor's degree as well as professional years of experience. I'm sure you all understand, talking with a new language, coming to the different culture, shock totally from the Middle East to coming to the Western culture. It's not an easy transition. I decided to get my master's degree here before I start to get to the professional industry, which is mine is civil engineering. I started my master's program at Portland State University as long as I was trying to look for the job opportunities around to see what is going to be the best fitted for my skills here. I found that that's really challenging. It's not easy. And the main part of it was because I have the professional experience, oh yeah, but that's not from the United States. I have the bachelor's degree, oh yeah, but that's not from the United States. It was really frustrating, stressful. I was thinking about myself, something is not in place that where it needs to be. How could I be a successful engineer in Iran where there is not enough support for women in engineering? And I couldn't be here where there is enough support around me. I have to do something to make that changes for me to work. I started to educate myself, going around, thinking about different stuff, taking different workshops, conferences, seminars to make myself more adaptable to the new culture, new work environment, new professional and industry that is here. It was not easy. I go a lot of places and try to adjust it until I realized that Portland Community College suggests me a program, Fast Track Series for Women by Dress for Success. I look at that, and the agenda looks pretty good, and I said, I'm gonna take that. It seems that that's be helpful, and I try so many different things. I'm gonna try that as well to see how it goes. I attend that program that was designed for 4 weeks to be long. Guess what? I didn't get a chance to finish my last week of that program because I got my first temporary job with one of the government agencies that was heartbreaking too. Thank you. That gives part of my confidence back. Things are not as impossible that I think, and hard work is gonna be pay off no matter. But I have to work harder. Temporary job is good, but I need to find a permanent home for myself so I feel sustainable, relaxed, and I don't think that, oh, I'm gonna stay with an Master of Engineering degree, being as a toddler teacher. That doesn't fit my skills, and that's not the place that's not my reasons to come to United States. I had a lot of moments prior to that I was thinking by myself, was the immigration right choice for me to come to United States? I gave up a lot of things back there, so many beloved ones, to left in my back home country to come to United States, where I feel that I have more support and equity in a place in the system. But I have to make something changes to make it for myself sustainable. Still, doing the temporary, Dress for Success suggested me, oh, you got a job, you don't want to finish your last session of Fast Track. And I said, yeah, I couldn't because I have to be at my job, new job. They told me, do you want to start a HOPE program? I was like, what's the HOPE program? They told me that when you got a job and then you get the services by Dress for Success, we offer you support when you're at your first 90 days of your job, to be more sustainable, to gain soft skills and move forward. And I said, the first one works, sure, why not? I'm gonna go for the HOPE program. During the HOPE program, you have to show your commitment to the program as well as attendance to gain those skills and workshops that you need to sustain to your work environment. I attended that and graduated that while I was still at my temporary job and keep continuing what I'm doing, as well as finishing master program. It's a lot at the same time, and assuming that doing all of these at a different language that is just totally new, technical skills, and you wanna just communicate technical expertise in others, like in the school and also in the work, and you wanna be heard. You wanna make sure that you show your stuff around. It was not an easy transition, but I did that. After that, I was able to, with the soft skills that I gained from Dress for Success, I was able to be in ODOT, Oregon Department of Transportation, and compete with one of the programs that they have. I'm so proud and happy to say that I was chosen along 105 other candidates, qualified candidates that applied for the same competitive position at the moment 3 years ago at Oregon Department of Transportation, and I got that job. Thank you. And after that, I feel, oh, okay, that's really great. And they offered me another program as professional women group. I got that one as well, and I was able to build so many soft skills to be successful and go around, and then get different promotion and transition from one position to another position. I want you to all know, Dress for Success is not only about the dress, it's not about the outfit, it's about the educational program, it's about the support, it's about the worldwide sisterhood relationship and support that they provide to other women. A woman, to me, supporting a woman, it's not only individual person. A woman is a wife, is a daughter, is a friend, is a mother. By supporting a woman today, you could support a generation and transfer everything from one generation that is passed on to the another generation.
Wow. And Atusa passed her citizenship test recently, so woo-woo. So we are so happy to be able to see those transformations, and that's what we're about here, transformation. And speaking of that, another area, the trades. That's an area where women are still underrepresented. But DFSO client Anna Connell is directing the way for other women into the trades. Anna first came to Dress for Success over 17 years ago, and she has used DFSO services throughout those years and is now a member of our Professional Women's Group, which is our continuing education program. And she was chosen this year's Community Project representative. Last year, Atusa was our first ever national winner, or worldwide winner, actually. And this year, Anna is entering the contest. Anna is blazing that path for women in trades as a certified trainer who trains women on flagging. And she hopes to bring even more women into the field. Anna?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Anna Connell, and it's an honor to be here this morning, and thank you for attending. When I first went in for my first personal shopping experience with Dress for Success, that was back in 2002. I'd been homeless for about 2.5 years up to that point. And I do have a legal history with felonies under my belt, not proud to say, but you know, with Dress for Success, they have given me strength, hope, education, and just a way to go and proceed in life and become something different than that way of life that I knew. For 33 years, I was addicted to drugs. I've now been clean and sober for over 15 years. And Dress for Success has been there throughout all of this. When I first started with Dress for Success was in 2002, as I said, and then it was just here and there that I went and attended meetings and so forth and used their services for the outfit, as Atusa would say. But it wasn't until 2009 and then again in 2012 when I went through the HOPE program and attended the meetings and became an actual member of this organization. I like to say I'm a member of it, as well as a client. And now I've been in the PWG program since 2012. And I am a recent graduate of the financial education program put on by Dress for Success and Capital One. The things I learned, and I'm almost 60 years old now, was amazing, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity. I had a motorcycle wreck in September of 2015 where I broke my neck, and I now have a steel plate in my right arm from my shoulder to my elbow. But I was down for 8 months in recovering from that, And I need to say that I did not get addicted to painkillers, and I am so grateful for that. With the support of the women at Dress for Success, they were a big part of me getting through that and accepting me right back in where I hadn't been able to get out and about at all for that 8 months' time. Like I had never missed a day there when I came back to the meetings. The camaraderie and the safety and the fun that Dress for Success provides through the Professional Women's Group is awesome. It's something I look forward to every month, to go to those meetings and listen to the presenters and the speakers that they provide for us. The education on different topics, it's a big spectrum that I've learned of things that I would have never learned about. Thanks to Dress for Success, once again. It is not just the outfit, as Atusa said. It's mind, body, and soul that Dress for Success can provide and does provide for women. We have, I lost my place. Sorry. I've been chosen as one of the delegates this year to represent a community action project, and I am a certified trainer for flaggers through Oregon and Chemeketa. I can train women to become flaggers to support themselves and their families. They can make anywhere from $15 to $42 an hour flagging in construction zones. Without Dress for Success, I would not be able to provide this. It's going to take about $1,000 a woman to get her fully geared with the hard hats, the rain gear, all of that. I'm going to provide her certification that will be good for 3 years, and she can provide for her family. And this is all thankful to Dress for Success. Please give this amazing organization so the next generation of women in need will help and find help at Dress for Success and what I found, the change, the possibility, and a new path in life.
Thank you, Anna. So, the esteemed children's rights advocate, Marian Wright Edelman, said, "It is hard to be what you cannot see." Now, notice she didn't say it's impossible, because it's not impossible, but it is hard. And if we're going to break the cycle of generational poverty, if we're going to fix what they call the leaky tech pipeline, if we're going to make careers traditional for women, all careers traditional for women, then we must support the engagement and transformation of adult women. Now, nobody likes to talk about adults, but adults are the ones who raise people. Because surely no single factor, no early childhood development program, no pipeline project, none of that can have the impact on a son, a daughter, a niece, a nephew, or a cousin than seeing their mother, their aunt, excelling in careers that they didn't think were possible for them. And so if you can help us continue this important work, we ask you to give today a gift that is meaningful to you. As you can see, they'll have up on the slides there that at different amounts, there are gifts that will help us. And we are excited today because the Marie Lantham Foundation will be matching all gifts we receive today up to $10,000. I want to thank Sally Bainey and Lisa Orcott in the room from the Marie Lantham Foundation. Thank you both so much. So any gift you give today up to $10,000 will be matched. And as I told you earlier, we have multiple ways for you to give. There are remit envelopes on your table. They'll be picked up as you leave. And if you'd like to try something fun and different, we'll give you a sweet treat. If you text Empower Her to the number 44321, you will get a link on your phone that will let you donate right while you're sitting there. And the first 10 people who do that will get some Moonstruck chocolate before they leave today. So that's exciting. So while you work on giving, putting together your folders, we're going to do a little table on what it takes to keep women in non-traditional careers. So Here we go. All right, I'm now over here. It's the same person. So we'd like to talk to you today on this panel, just a little bit of time we have on why focus on investing in women in non-traditional careers, tech, engineering, trades. Why is that good business? And so the first thing I want to just talk to you ladies about is just the phrase non-traditional. How does that strike you? Lakeisha?
I mean, it certainly qualifies for the jobs that we're in, but when you were talking to us this morning about the question, actually, I don't like the fact that engineering is not considered a traditional field, because it should be. You know, everything that's out there for men is an opportunity for women at the same time, and so it is considered non-traditional, but I think that's a misnomer, right? Every woman should have the opportunity to have any jobs that she wants, and so when you talk about the ability for women to come into that career field, I think it's important. I think it's important for companies to provide opportunities. Really, from an Intel perspective, we've invested, thankfully, our leadership has invested over $300 million, and we continue to do so, to make sure we can bring women in these quote-unquote non-traditional fields, because at the end of the day, women at the table help to deliver better products and services, and women improve innovation when they're sitting at those tables. And one of the things that I always say is diversity in career fields is not good or bad, it's not black or white, it's green. When you have the right diverse perspectives at the table, it's good for the business's bottom line.
I think it might be on a Tuesday. Give it a go.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. To me, women in non-traditional, I would like to share something. The first time that I decided to be an engineer, because I've heard from a lot of people with the traditional mindset that girls cannot be an engineer no matter if they could get education or not. To me is that I could make the difference for the next generation by being a good engineer to overcome that one. And it's a long-term investment for me. We might gonna see as whomever in a power to support and employ a woman and have that diversity on the table for our just product or just the shape that we are seeing it today. But in the long term, the out product of it, to have a different lenses to see the different stuff around the perspective and outcome of the delivery of whatever we are going to deliver, it make a big changes. It's gonna be a long investment that win-win on both sides, employer and employee itself.
I'd like to add the fact that we're going to see more women in the construction field from going forth, and I want to be a big part of that. The flaggers, they may think that that's not a very important position, but let me tell you, these contractors that are out here in the roadways, without a flagger, they would not have a job. They would not be able to do their job, and therefore America would not progress in the building and infrastructure, and that's what flaggers are for, is to provide safety. And I believe women can do that very well, seeing we are mothers, sisters, and so forth in life. So,
Thank you. So one thing is, it's one thing to hire a diverse workforce, women of color, but how can employers help retain women in those areas?
Providing a support. A lot of time, me as a woman, I just want to make sure that from my employer, from my colleagues, from whomever is on the table with me, I could be heard. My idea, my perspective would be the same important as my male colleague who has the experience. And also, see not only the ones that brought expertise, how many students out of the college know everything on top of their head with having even PhD. We have to put that in the practice, try to discover the potential and encourage women to show their potential and develop themselves so they could be better workforce for you and out product for your company.
Anna, the trades and tech both have a bad rap as being very male dominated, very bro-male culture. We like men. I'm not saying anything bad about you. I just want to keep that out here. But I'm saying that women in these industries do have a tough time. So what strategies do you use to keep them there?
to give these women confidence in their own ability, solely, because you cannot depend on anybody else out there. And a lot of times, it takes two people. And if you have the confidence and the education and the support behind the one person, she can be strong enough to lead and go forth and ask what she needs out here. If she needs help to carry that 100-pound item, by all means ask. Don't just try to do it yourself. And we're trying to provide that outlook, if you will, or perspective in the construction field these days with women coming into play. No one person can do anything without another in life, is my.
And Lakeisha, tech has a pretty hard rap, especially around programming for women. How do we keep them there?
Yeah, no, excellent question. I think we have certainly come a long way at Intel, but there's a long way to go. Some of the things that we've done is we've created those retention and development programs for rising stars, right? For the last 3 to 4 years, we took all of our African American Hispanic leaders and women through a leadership development program that allowed them to understand how to communicate at the executive levels, how to navigate the technical ladder, how to navigate the managerial ladder. So really at the end of the day, you have to provide scaffolding, right? Every person brings a unique and different lens to the table, and they have to learn how do you navigate that environment. And so the best thing that you can do is provide that mentoring, that coaching, and that programming. And that's what we've done. The other thing that we've done too to make sure that we can retain talent is we've created something called a warm line, where employees can actually call and speak to an HR person anonymously and talk to them about a challenge that they're having to get help. And so we've had over 10,000 calls to that warm line, mainly women, underrepresented minorities, and we've had quite a few men. And so what we're trying to do is to give employees the opportunity to feel safe when they're experiencing challenges in their organization and really give them some solutions that will allow them to stay within the corporation. So I think you just have to get creative and innovative on what it takes to keep folks in the room and keep them, as you said, feeling like they have an opportunity to be successful in providing those resources.
And I think one last question as we get ready to wrap up is, we tend to look at education and access in this continuum. You start here, you go there. But there are many ways to enter employment. For instance, our tech program, the women who are in our tech program, most of them have had no technology experience before they entered our tech program. And in years past, I'm a lawyer by trade, that was an apprenticeship. You didn't have to go to actually a school. So how do we make space for women to enter at different areas and trying things like apprenticeships and other type programs? Tusa, you want to?
One part, as we all know, some of the job need education, and we all agree on that. Some of the job need some certain license. Like me as engineer, I have to have the professional engineer license to stamp my design. But a lot of other jobs, we should give different people to try. The jobs that are not required, we could have the training and a job for a lot of other positions and let them to grow and expand their knowledge and grow with us as it goes. Learn their potential. You never know the one that is sitting beside you how much potential he or she has. One thing that I learned really hard, it's always be nice to the person next to you. You never know who is sitting next to you. She or he might be the next president of the United States. You don't know. Discover those potentials. It's not impossible. We don't know.
Lakeisha, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, no, I think to that point, one of the things that we try to do is to create programs for even high schoolers to enter into Intel and gain experience. There's a Business Education Compact organization within the area where we bring in high school students. We also bring in interns, tons of interns. We create scholar programs for students to come in the door. But the other thing about Intel that I love is that it really doesn't matter. Once you get in the door, even if you're not an engineer, you can become an engineer. There's quite a few people who have HR backgrounds, finance backgrounds, manufacturing backgrounds that have been able to traverse through the company in any role that you want. Because to your point, I think Intel's view is if you can solve problems and you can relate to people, you can have any job you want in the company. And I think the foundational skills are transferable. And so we pride ourselves on people being able to move across different organizations, engineering degree or not. We actually have quite a few people in leadership positions that don't have engineering degrees and do very, very well. And so I think we have to be open to bringing in a skill set, to your point, and allowing those folks to come through maybe rotational programs to build skill sets and then figure out where we should final place them. But we absolutely believe in opening the door to people that have the ability to relate to people and solve problems and giving them an opportunity to compete for any role that they like.
Thank you. How about we give a big hand to our panelists, our speakers. Well, I want to thank you all for your attention this morning. And look, what time is it? 8:59. I told you I was going to have you out of here at 9 o'clock. I'm not playing around. But we are able to get a lot of information to you, and we're an efficient organization in general. What I like to tell people is invest in dress, invest in women, invest in the types of transformation you see here today. Because changing their lives has changed the trajectory of their lives, their family and communities. That is how we solve problems. And you now have an answer when people ask you why women. Say, well, you need to read the McKinsey report. Have you read that yet? And then, you can help answer those questions of why this investment is important and what is the ROI, the return on investment in this community and around the world for investing in women. Melinda Gates just, in case anybody know Melinda Gates, can you hook me up with a phone call? She just said she's going to be investing multi-billion dollars in women in the United States, in the very thing we're talking about in this room. So So help us invest in more women. Please, again, give the gift that is meaningful to you. Lori Tacorius from Greenbrier could not be in the room today, but she did send a gift of $2,000. So we'd like to thank her very much for that generous gift. And the first 10 people who figured out not only how to get on Wi-Fi, but also how to give, and who now have earned themselves some Moonstruck chocolate, when you exit, please stop and make sure you get your chocolate. It's Jeanette Moe, Elizabeth Begley, Tracy Pearson, Emily Haskell, April Dennis, Brian Burke, Paul Brown, which, Paul, you do technology, so it's kind of important that you could have figured that out. Lila Aguirre, Kelly Campbell, and Cindy Hand, I believe it is. So thank you all. Have a wonderful morning.